Hello and welcome.
We had the absolute pleasure of interviewing Karren Karagulian, who plays Toros in Anora. We had a conversation about his career, Armenian cinema, and Anora.
Yeah, we asked some juicy questions and we hope you enjoy. Also, please like, subscribe, do everything you can to send this around. Enjoy.
Thank you.
We've heard and read some articles about you living in Armenia, and you grew up with some of the films, I'm sure, that were made during that Soviet era. Were there any Armenian characters or films that you were inspired by that had a long-term inspiration in your career in acting?
Um, I don't know if how much I got inspired by, but of course, Frunzik was. I always thought of him as a genius actor, and the kindness, the love, the humor he projected. I always say that when you watch a film, number one thing is what I want to do is I want to entertain my audience. For me, it's important for my audience to go to a movie theater or be in front of TV, and that an hour and a half or 2 hours be entertained.
Yeah.
Right. By the way, how do you say entertained in Armenian?
You would know that. But maybe you don't.
Anyway,
Vavasnel is not correct.
Yeah, I don't know if there is a right word in Armenian for that. But yeah, Frunzik Mkrtchyan is probably the one.
Okay.
Understandable. He's like our Robin Williams of Armenia.
Yeah, and we actually
and another genius. You mentioned Robin Williams. Is like, I mean, Robin Williams, in my opinion, he's just a genius. He's a guy who has so much energy, or he was a guy who had so much energy that was naturally just coming out. Is fun to watch him.
Yeah, his screen presence is almost intimidating. Like when I see him, it feels like I could like shake his hand when he's on screen.
Yeah, you always say that like Frunzik and Robin Williams are two actors who almost like break through the screen, and like you can actually interact with them, yet they're not actually there. It's kind of the most
It's surreal.
which makes me love Frunzik. But yeah.
Frunzik.
Frunzik, çişta.
Frunzik.
Frunzik.
I think his real name was Maher.
Hayes. Armenian. Нет, грузин.
Ой, извините, я думал, что я один. Я сейчас там так хохотался. Вот это ваше место.
Спасибо.
Летчик.
Our next question is it a conscious decision to accept roles that convey Armenian characters who will most likely be perceived as controversial within our race? Because, like as an artist, do you hope to expand the circle of characters we may associate with Armenians and like start conversations that could break those molds and limitations that we've like put upon ourselves?
Yeah, I think it is conscious. Again, because I lived most of my life in New York, I look at the world a little bit more open. Being human is number one for me, being a person, and then it goes to the rest. So it is a conscious decision. I like to bring people to conversations. I like when people talk about things, educate each other through dialogue, through conversation, and then make their decisions about things by knowing those things and talking about them.
So you were kind of talking about being a human, but I think one of the most beautiful things of being a human is like observing. And sometimes, like I always ask Lilith, like, do we need a movie in order to feel like we're getting an experience, or do we just need to step outside and just have a walk and look around us? And like one of the things when I came to Armenia and I step outside is I hear the kids singing in the beginning of the day. I see everybody walking on the park. And these are all like observations I'm having. And I don't think I'll ever forget this for the year I'm living here. But what are some maybe the memories you have when you're on set in Anora? Because you were talking about this is an idea you've always wanted to do in New York, in this location, and in this way. So was it kind of surreal observing the moment that this is a film I'm going to be making? What was the thought process of being alive at that moment and realizing this film is being made here?
I have this thing has been in my head for so long, and then when we started the process of Anora, it doesn't just start on set. It starts probably year and a half. No, for me, before, because I got the script before. Then we started working, choosing locations. So it was a long process.
Hmm.
So I don't remember kind of like sitting and thinking about my thought process during the shoot.
Hmm.
But the whole thing was very, very special for me. Starting the fact that I was working with my favorite director, Sean Baker, who's also a friend. Secondly, when I read the script, I was my jaw dropped. It was so well written. That's the thing about Sean Baker, because I watched him mature since
Hmm.
1995 up until now, almost 30 years soon to be. And I saw how he always works on himself. He educates himself, and how he gets better and better from film to film. He gets better and better.
Yeah.
And for him, it's not, he doesn't sit and wait for X amount of money to drop on his head for him to go and do something.
Yeah.
Hmm.
If he's passionate about a story, he just goes and does it. Like, there is a film that's also in Criterion Channel now called uh,
Is it a
called
takeout?
Takeout.
Yeah.
Takeout. They shot with $3,000.
Yeah.
After that, there was a film called Prince of Broadway. We had only like $35,000, $40,000.
Hmm.
Tangerine, we shot on an iPhone, right?
Hmm.
So what's most important is the enthusiasm, the of course talent, obviously, but
Yeah.
you can always work on yourself. And like when we were talking about Anora, I remember he said, I went and I read all the comments about Red Rocket, and I saw some of the comments of people said that this part of the film I was bored. And he said, I don't want to bore anybody with Anora. So now
Yeah.
I'm going to look at things that people might find boring. You know what I mean?
That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
After listening to your interview with Dr. K, you talked about receiving death threats due to your role in Tangerine. With the success of Anora, how does it feel to be shunned one day by, like our community and then embraced the next day, which is in the present? Because I know Armenians we're very hot and cold. Like we have extreme reactions to everything practically.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I never thought about it that way. I'm just
Hmm.
happy to receive a lot of love now from, one of the best things that happened to me right after cons. I started getting a lot of DMs through Instagram, which
Hmm.
I was not active on. I just became active on Instagram after Cannes Film Festival, which I love Instagram, by the way. Easiest way to communicate, and I'm addicted to those short videos.
What is wrong with you? All you do is TikTok, Instagram, TikTok, Instagram. That's it.
Yeah, I started receiving a lot of DMs from people your age. Like people were young and they were saying that we're proud to be Armenian. We're love to see on the screen. We can relate, and that was like so heartwarming, so special. It was like one of the biggest bonuses I received after the film. So I always try to stay positive. If whatever
Hmm.
negative happened with previous experiences, I'm happy it's changing. I'm happy people are looking at that and now are, talking about it. They're open to conversations. And of course, times changed. That was 10 years ago. Now it's
Hmm.
different. And I'm sure things in Armenia changed a lot as well. Just
Hmm.
judging by fact that you guys were born in US and now you are in Armenia and trying to change the world, which is amazing.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I'm glad you're happy that you're getting the recognition. Like when we conducted these interviews, we went to some universities and we asked the students there what they thought about the Armenian representation in Anora, and everybody seemed to love it.
Yeah, they were super excited.
Like just the fact that anyone was taking a risk that happens to be an Armenian character is a plus. But when it's done well and it's to that stage and to that level, it's like it's just even more and more like greatness. So yeah, I'm not surprised if a lot of the youngsters, I sound like an old ass man.
You know, by saying youngster.
Anyways, Now, the one thing I want to ask is that after this film, if you're getting a lot of the positive feelings, but do you wish to sometimes step outside of the Armenian character? And I don't know how many films exactly you have played an Armenian character, but there's a good amount of them. And we're curious, do you think sometimes you want to step out into different genres, playing different roles, different ethnicities? I know you're going to play a devil soon, but what is kind of your thought process at this moment with the Armenian characters?
Uh, I I enjoy playing Armenian characters. That it comes kind of easy to me. But in one of the Sean's films, I played a Persian character. Not too long ago, I played a Russian oligarch. This was like a couple of months ago. It was a film with Arnold Schwarzenegger. It's a Christmas film. He's playing
wow.
Santa Claus. I have a little role there. But as an actor, it's good to be able to play, obviously different things. But I enjoy playing Armenian American characters, and there and I also like to tell stories that I have seen, I have witnessed, or I see every day in this past 35 years that I can relate to, people I know can relate to. That's what I see me doing in future.
Okay.
In a bigger picture.
Thank you.
We need your help in understanding something that's unique to our cinematic timeline. Because most of the cinema during the Soviet era was defined by warm humor, like communal tragedies, and there was a lot of archetypes that Armenians had, like the village idiot or the shepherd. Where do you think this desire for strong and honorable representation comes from? Because we never really ever had that, and we were happy in the Soviet era without it. So why do you think there is like this sudden like urge that we so strongly have to see that?
To see what?
Like the honorable, like more of, like glorified versions of
Yeah, you
ourselves.
brought up like this Sazin David type character,
Yes.
and like
We've never been South
we were just thinking like, where does that start from? Like, where? Because I feel like it's such a 2000s thing to like ask for this genocide film, ask for films about like the strong, honorable man. And I kind of think like, was there a desire back then to have those films, but the Soviet reign never allowed it? I'm just always kind of confused. Why wasn't there like it's like almost feels like a new 2000s thing, but I was born in the 2000s, so I can't tell if this was a conversation that was had prior. But we wanted to ask you
I
maybe if there
was
was.
I was never part of those conversations, and also, the thing is, those Soviet characters, that was so long ago. That was what, 40 years ago, right? So there's a
Yeah.
big gap between then and now.
Yeah.
And also, I feel like people have to be a little bit more connected to reality versus just thinking and fantasizing and
Yes.
projecting an image and kind of thinking that they're that, but in reality they're not that. So to me, reality is the most important because by analyzing reality, you can understand and logically do the right move that benefits you, your family, or your nation, or whatever it is.
Yeah.
So it's great to have characters like that you mentioned, but not now. You have to go through. You have to tell the stories about reality first. Once you understand who you really are today, then you can talk about things that. Then you can talk about fantasy. Is
Yes.
what I'm trying to say.
Yeah. I kind of wonder if it's maybe just us projecting or seeing, like, let's say we saw Godfather, we seen Scarface, and we're like, I want that film. I want a film
It's an
like
immigrant
that. You know, it's like
story too.
it's an immigrant story. We can relate to it, and we project. A lot of people project themselves onto it, but then we ask, why don't we have that film? But sometimes it takes a while to get to Scarface, right? So yeah, totally.
Yeah, but yeah, at the end of the day, Scarface, Godfather, there were movies about people who were murderers,
Yeah,
they
yeah.
were
Yeah, we're not really
criminals, right?
murderers.
But everybody sympathized with them.
Yeah.
right? Because the quality of the work was there. You could understand the character, you could relate to the character, and that's what I like doing. Or I am not. Maybe at some point I will tell a story about I don't know, historical character or something, but I haven't grown to that level yet. I like to tell stories that I witness, I see, and they're real. And we're real people, so we want to see. Like for example, a lot of times I hang out with Armenians. They said, "Oh, your character in Anora was just like my uncle."
Yes.
I like that.
The biggest
So
compliment.
yeah.
Ara gacram մի քիչ էլի արա, քնել ես ճամփին արա։
If we haven't found him by now, we are not finding him.
Did I ask you? Did I ask you? Keep your opinion to yourself.
So audience has to relate with the characters that they're watching. I think that's what entertains the audience.
No, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think those are some of our favorite films. Or like I think the one thing with Tangerine, and the reason why Tangerine got us so excited to become filmmakers is that you can shoot with just about anything, but as long as your story, your characters, and everything feels human enough, it's consumable.
It still touches its
It still
audience.
touches the audience. And I think that was the biggest mind-blowing thing for me as I don't know, we're like 20 years old when we watched that. But you're completely correct. I think sometimes it's just as long as you showcase that humanity, that's sometimes all you need. But
So you watched it when you were 20. It was like 7 years ago, right?
I just said 20, but I don't know the exact age.
I think I was
more
probably
or less.
20.
You're
Yeah.
probably 20.
He was probably 22, 23.
Yeah.
Because
Okay.
Tangerine, and then after that, I made a movie called Welcome Home. That's the Russian one.
Yes.
And then, like for example, the question I'm asking myself now and asking you too, like how come you guys didn't reach out to me when you watched Tangerine then, right? Because then I was ready to talk about things, but I was so lonely. No one was reaching out to me. And if whoever was reaching out, they were wishing me, they were projecting like a lot of negative energy, right? So, but now I made a film which won Oscars and was successful. Now everybody wants to talk to me. So what I'm saying is this is also reality. See, when you do something, when you keep doing it, time comes. There is a point there. See, there's going to be a long time in filmmakers' life when the only person that believes in what you're doing is yourself, nobody else. And you go through a long periods of loneliness, depression, this and that. And then if you keep going at it, you will succeed. And then people will come and say, hey, should we talk about what you did before?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So it's important to keep going at it. It's important to not to be broken by that negative or unsuccessful energy that is that's part of the job, right? That's how it is. If you don't like it, just go do something else.
Yeah.
But if you can manage that negative energy, that loneliness, that depression in a right way, then you'll get there.
I think sometimes how everything is a very delicate situation, kind of like they say the butterfly effect. I guess what's nice is that we needed you to maybe say that to us at this moment. And so we apologize first that we didn't message you, but we also have to say thank you for saying that because we do need that. Like we're at this moment where our family doesn't want to fully support us with the decisions we're making. But we just have this gut instinct that if we push hard enough, anything's possible. And I think, especially from seeing your film from Tangerine, I don't want to say it in a rude way, but I think if your character did the job, did such a good job, and it's not shown in that way, then anything's possible. What's stopping us, right? And it's like that to me, that character to us was like, oh my God, that was such an extreme to us where we didn't even conceive it was possible. It was like this door that opened. So we apologize, yes, that we didn't message you, but thank you for saying that deeply.
And also,
So,
I
go
I
ahead.
think like life also like our relationship and like our life development like gave us more strength, I guess, to be like even have the idea to contact you because honestly, don't even sometimes realize like I could just message people. Like
Yeah.
I'm learning this concept now and like at this age, which is a bit late, but I've
Yeah.
always had that issue. Like even in school, like I tend to just like leave when class ends. It's not a good habit, but I'm now realizing like, oh, I'm blocking myself from like meeting interesting people, having discussions.
Kind of funny just how we kind of tell ourselves through those times that you might be scared or you might be scared or lonely but we still push ourselves and get to this point. But yeah, it's crazy how humans can make decisions and get into the position that we're in now. Like we get to live in Armenia. You got to be on the Cannes Film Festival. You went to the Oscar
Oscars,
stage.
yeah.
It's a big deal. But we still have another question.
Sure.
Yeah, you go ahead.
We felt that Anora shared a lot of similarities to Mimino and Kidnapping Caucasian style, because there's like a scene where you yell in the court, and there's also a scene in Mimino where Frunzik yells in the court, like he
It's not yells, he
curses.
like curses. Yeah.
Yeah, he interrupts the courtroom.
Слушай, я тебе мешал? Подожди, ты тоже не мешай. Извини.
Objection, Your Honor. They're not legally married, and she shouldn't be talking.
Come on, man, sit down.
Your Honor, my apologies.
I apologize. My client
Тише, товарищи. Ваше слово, Светлана Георгиевна.
What? Мы можем заполнить документы по разводу здесь? Если вы хотите ускорить процесс, вам придется поехать туда.
Are you fucking kidding me?
And there's also, in Kidnapping Caucasian style, they kidnap the woman, and in
Oh
Anora,
my
it's
God, I
also
never thought about that. Yeah.
in Anora, it's also like an Eastern European gang of people kidnapping Nora.
Yeah.
Очень совсем без жены. Гораздо лучше с любой стороны. Оу! Открой! Открой!
Hey,
You better sit the fuck away from
stop,
me!
listen. You are not going anywhere. Come back. Please come. Сейчас она убежит. Да ладно. Эй, stop. Держи ее.
Нина! Нина! Где вы? Нина!
You staying here and getting this annulled. You heard my boss. Hey, hey.
Fuck your boss!
Were those influences intentional, and like is Sean Baker aware that there's those parallels? Like does he know about the Soviet films of that time?
He knows
Maybe
about all
brought it up?
films. He hasn't seen these two particular films, but I guess this was. I'm glad you mentioned this because these two films I watched them countless times, and obviously they made they made me in a way, right? And this was my unconscious influence on Sean because we've been, we know each other for so long. That's very, very interesting. I like that. That's so cool. That court scene and Frunzik's court scene. It's unintentional, but I guess you see, it's like a layers that form us, and then these layers, this energy, we project to each other, we exchange, we talk, and then people like things about you, and then unintentionally it becomes a product becomes similar to that. So I'm very happy you mentioned that. That's so cool.
Yeah, we thought that it was intentional because you also talked about how you wanted to run like a chicken, and I'm like, oh, sorry, a bird. And I'm like, that's
Yeah,
such a
bird.
Soviet, like that's very much an old school Soviet type slapstick comedy thing to do, where you have to like run kind of cartoonishly.
Yeah.
Okay. So the last thing, we have two last things, and then we're done. And were there any moments that were cut from the film that you wish got kept into the film, Anora?
No, I don't. There was a lot more of that crawl. We call it crawl when they're looking for him. There were a few interesting interactions of me entering restaurants, because all of those scenes we shot very, very much guerrilla style, that's Sean Baker style, where he just lets me go somewhere and he just shoots people's real reactions. And there was one in particular which didn't make to the film because it just didn't work. In a restaurant, I went in and there was almost, it was not a fight, but it was an argument between me and the restaurant host. He didn't let me go deeper and ask people. But one of the biggest talents of Sean is, and I'm so happy he won an Oscar for that, is the editing. He's an amazing editor. He actually, one of the films, a film that he edited now just got into Cannes Film Festival called Left-Handed Girl. Long time ago, again, it was like 2007 or 2006, him and his partner that time, Shishing Su, wrote that story about this Taiwanese girl, I think. And again, that's something that's been in development for 17 years now, and finally they made it. But he's the one who edited it. I'm sure it's going to be great. All his films he edits himself. The only time I was very unhappy with his edit was Florida Project. So in Florida Project, I had a lot of great scenes with William Dafoe. I was very excited about that because we shot. And then when I went to watch the film at the premiere here in New York Film Festival, I saw that all my scenes were cut out.
Yeah, I think you're there for maybe like a minute and a half, maybe less.
And then we came out and he said, I'm so sorry, I had to cut this out because when you were on the screen, it just took away from the story about kids. It became not about kids anymore. So, but anyway, I'm saying this in a good way. Still, he did the right thing. He cut me out, but the film benefited from that. But of course, I wasn't happy.
I'll just tell you a lead up to why we're asking this question. I think may have already said it, but my nerves maybe are making me forget. We were going ahead and we went all around asking people from the festival, people who are journalists, people who are part of the university, students and faculty, and also filmmakers, what they think about the Armenian representation in Nora. And our goal is not to find a negative, but more so just let the words come out from the community, and just so people can see that there is a community in Armenia. There are people who are interested in cinema. And my goal is just to, because Anora is such a big topic, I thought it might be an easy way for people just to see us. So yeah, I know that this question, we heard that you think this question is kind of vague and pointless, but we just want to say, what do you think about the Armenian representation in Anora, and especially since you're in it?
Armenian representation.
Yes.
Well, you see, for example, I heard the other day somebody said, or I read somewhere, he said, I'm going to say this in Armenian because I don't know how to say it in English. He said, they are Rusi Chort Chort. Chort means like a slave, right?
Yeah.
Or something like that. So, when I came to US, I was working, I was cleaning laundromats, right? Then I did a lot of things, but I never felt like a Jort because Jort is a state of mind. It's not something that, I don't know. So maybe because I immigrated here, or people who come to live, they're forced to do things that it's not representation. It's real life. This is what people go through. This is what people are, right?
Yeah,
That's the
yeah.
reality. So if there is probably negative and positive in it, because some people might see it and think, oh, they're playing as a Russian Chort, and then they go and they don't want to be a Russian Chort, right? Or anyway, it's hard. For me. It's hard to answer that question. I don't know. There is Armenian representation. That's real life. I mean, we are normal people, just like any nation in the world.
Yeah.
There's nothing that spectacular or that special about Armenian. Yeah, of course, we all feel a little bit special inside of us because we're Armenian. I don't even know what that is,
Yes.
but and I understand it's very hard to be Armenian because we have very specific history. And we are also people who are, I still don't understand why we're so different with each other. I mean, I know being Armenian first means being very, loving, very warm, but I see also there's a lot of hate between people now. So I would love for people to take away a little bit of that love that we put into this film and share with each other. And love is not, I don't mean the love that always, that necessarily that generates the sexual energy. There is different kinds of love, right? You can love your taxi driver in a moment. You can drive your dry cleaner. You can love your friend or wife or mother, or doesn't matter. But if people understand and want to share that energy, I'm sure this world will be so much better place to live in on every day. So I don't know. I probably didn't answer your question,
No,
but I
you
don't know
did.
if
You
answered the
did.
question.
You literally did. Yeah. Well, thank you. That was really good. Okay. Well, thank you so much for having a talk with us and being here with us. We only have like 95 subscribers, and you didn't need to do this. So we just want to say thank you sincerely.
Sure, my pleasure. Your subscribers amount is not that important for me. What's important for me is YouTube. That you guys are two good, positive kids, and you're doing what you're doing. And I wanted to give you whatever positive energy or strength that I can give you, so you can move on and go on and do what you're doing every day. And I think you're doing the right thing. And I hope you had more support from your families. And I'm pretty sure that if you keep on doing what you're doing, that support will come too.
Thank you so much. It really means a lot for us
My
because,
pleasure.
yeah, like being Armenian is really hard, and it's like, it's like a seesaw. It's like being on a seesaw, loving it and hating it a lot, and just your existence as an artist and as an actor kind of makes the seesaw fun. Like it gives us like a hope. I don't know.
Yeah, it does.
Good. Saturday, they want me to do a Q&A via Zoom
Yeah,
Yes.
in a theater. Oh, you know about that?
they were the ones that like kind of was telling us if we were too nervous to even think it's a possibility to ask you a question. Like, we're not kidding. We're very nervous people of like going out and doing these things. So they were like, why don't you just message him, just like we messaged him. Like, okay,
Yeah.
yeah, why not? Yeah.
So imagine from then in 2014 about the Tangerine subject to now, when they want to show the film to a class of students and they want to discuss. That's good.
Yeah, they're still a little scared to show Tangerine though here in Armenia. I think it's slowly gonna
No,
get to that
I
point.
totally understand.
Yeah.
I totally understand. But also, in case you guys are talking to anyone about it, you should know that I researched that character thoroughly before I played it.
I
Up and
watched it
down.
with my mom, and she told me like she's heard so many stories of these types of like immigrants that come and get into like those, cheating scandals being a taxi driver. So she said it was very familiar for her being like from Los Angeles too.
Like she's from Little Armenia, and a lot of the places that you guys shot were not too far off from the locations
Yeah.
where she lives.
Yeah. When you leave that bubble or box you were born and you grew up with, all of a sudden try to look for yourself in you, and things come out. You start exploring, and that's what Tangerine is about. It's not necessarily about that subject. It's about, for me, it's about just generally speaking, people looking for themselves, inside themselves, understanding it and bringing it out, talking about it, educating. So anyway, I hope I didn't bore you.
Not at all.
But thank you so much. I hope we can talk to
Sure.
you again.
My pleasure.
Bye-bye.
Take care. Bye.
Thank you.